brought to you by 1AAuto.com, your source for quality parts and the best service on the internet.
Hi, I'm Mike from 1AAuto. I hope this how-to video helps you out. And next time you need parts for your vehicle, think of 1AAuto.com. Thanks.
In this video, we're going to show you how to replace the PCV valve and valve cover breather tube in this 2007 Audi A4. And you'll need a T25 Torx Driver, hooked pick, flat blade screwdriver, 5mm stubby Allen socket, ratchet, and universal joint.
Remove the engine cover. Locate the PCV on the rear driver's side of the valve cover. Remove the upper hose on the PCV valve by pinching together the tabs, carefully working it off of its lines. Work the lower clamp off of the PCV valve. Just make sure it's disconnected. You don't really have enough room to set it off to the side in any way. Remove the 4 T25 Torx screws with a T25 bit socket or screwdriver. Where it's difficult to reach down and hold the last screw with your finger, simply pull out on the housing as you unbolt it. Angle up the housing and make sure that the screw stays in there. Using a small pick, remove the old gasket from the slots in the side of the valve cover. Install the new gasket into the valve cover. Be sure that it's fully seated, lined up properly. You don't want any slack in there or any parts that aren't seated fully into the valve cover gasket, or they could pinch, get locked in there crooked when we install the new PCV valve. Just the bottom bolt here next to that lower breather line. I'm going to go ahead and rest that in there. Carefully lower the PCV valve housing back into place. Line it up and tighten it down. Reinstall the remaining 3 screws. You may have to move this lower PCV line to get to the top right. Snap the lower breather line back into place. Reinstall the upper PCV line. Until they snap into place. Reinstall your engine cover. The valve cover breather tube is located on the front passenger side of the engine and runs from this rubber hose on the valve cover down to the inlet side of the turbo. Be sure that the engine is cooled down before removing the tube, because it connects to the back side of the turbo, which gets very hot very quickly. Ensure the vehicle is fully cooled down. Use a flat blade screwdriver to loosen the clamp at the top of the breather tube. And remove the breather line from the rubber hose. Remove the 2 5mm Allen screws holding the bottom of the tube into the back of the turbo. You'll need a stubby Allen socket and a universal joint. To remove the lower bolt, we're just going to use a long, straight extension and the stubby Allen socket. All this oil inside the tube is a good sign that the check valve in this breather has gone bad. That means that all this oil is getting into our turbo and in turn into our motor. Start the bolt through the bottom of the breather line. Line up the bolt. Start the top bolt by hand. Once the bolts have been started and the flange is lined up, tighten them down. While you need to use extensions and universal joints in order to remove and install these bolts, they can throw off the accuracy of a torque spec, but if you'd like, the torque spec for these is 80 inch-pounds. Reinstall the top of the breather line into the hose with the ventilation line reinstalled into the rubber hose. Tighten your clamp with a flat blade screwdriver.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope this video helped you out. Next time you need parts for your car, please visit 1aauto.com. Also check out our other helpful how-to as well as diagnosis videos.